skinny, fit, I mean, abs you have, you look dumpy if you sit.
You're sitting?
I sit because I'm past the point of caring.
Is it being videoed?
It is being videoed on Facebook Live. You can keep your mask on the entire period. I have been.
I could have done my hair more.
Your hair looks amazing.
Do you want me on that side?
You can sit wherever you want if you want to be on the camera. Let's move this chair out of the way so everybody's going to stand. I'm doing this mic.
Yep.
That mic didn't work last time.
Yeah, well, that's because whoever did it didn't have it in the correct thing. It works fine.
So I can give these two guys.
Yeah, we checked it. We checked it.
It's right here.
Oh, gotcha.
So do you do Facebook at all?
Yeah.
All right. So the Geaux Rouge page, GEAUX, is my little page.
Okay.
When are you going to get here?
Check.
Good. It's
All
working.
right. So
Okay.
I'll send a notice out here.
I'm going to forward the Facebook Live on Talk 107. I'll explain.
Yeah, we're up and running.
All right. Hi, Facebook Live. Can you hear me? So we're going to be kicking things off shortly. I'm going to share this video, this Talk 107.3 video. I'm going to share it on the Geaux Rouge page, so you can watch from either the Geaux Rouge page or Talk 107.3. Man, I'm looking marvelous this morning. Lost a little bit of weight. Got things fitting that didn't used to fit.
Yeah, congratulations on your journey, by the way.
Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have
Pesca-
bikini lens on there?
It's working for me. I'm a pescatarian now.
Me too.
It's not really that big of a sacrifice in Louisiana, but I can't use butter or oil.
I don't really use a lot of butter or oil either. I don't. When I cook at home, of course. How do you eat out?
So air frying. At home.
Oh,
What's a
you've got one of those fancy
Fish and veggies.
Yeah.
No,
I can eat
No meat.
olive oil?
no olive. Not yet. I'm building up to it. Sushi, raw fish.
I do love
boiled.
good sushi. Boil is good. You can't really bake. Does Pam count? Like Pam spray?
No cookies?
Because I do use that
So
to bake
she
stuff.
lets me use.
Who's the all-powerful
my-
she?
My doctor, Dr.
Oh.
G, Dr. Gunjarina, lets me use either the fluid aquafaba farva.
Yes, that is a good one.
Chickpea
Mm-hmm.
or vegetable
You make a meringue
broth.
yet?
Not yet. Or vegetable
This
broth.
does not sound good.
It is complicated. There's a lot of trial and error. A lot of error.
I would not last.
So the benefit is I weighed 6 years ago. I weighed 350 pounds.
Wow.
Right now I weigh 247.
Wow.
So, and the goal is, thank you. You know what? Coming from you, so we're on Facebook Live, guys. We're going to kick things off in a minute or two. This lovely soul, Marlee Pittman. You know Marlee, right? Marlee's been on the show before.
Yeah.
Marlee's going to be co-hosting today's Geaux Rouge episode with me, in part because Marlee had a brilliant idea for an episode. And the episode idea was about what?
How to clean up Baton Rouge.
Right. So if you've been living in the city for 42 years, like I have, you're not quite as old as me, there is a litter problem in Baton Rouge. There's,
You could have been living here for 5 minutes and I've learned that.
Yes. So I experienced it at its worst when I was walking the lakes. And then I moved to Mid-City, and I live in Bernard Terrace, which is not as cool and sexy as Ogden Park. But
I would challenge that. Bernard Terrace has an
love me
interesting
some Bernard Terrace.
neighborhood dynamics. It's got that missing middle development, duplexes, quadplexes, apartments, single-family homes.
So I have never spent more time. Every morning, I have a little mini schnauzer. I walk the mini schnauzer, and every morning I have to pick up debris from my yard. And it like hurts the soul. And I'm that guy. The neighbor to the right of me is an elderly woman. I pick up her debris. The neighbors to the left of me, they can do a good job, but it's like it's mass, it's trash, it's a little bit of everything. It's not a lot, but it's enough to where it's like, come on.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk first world problems. First world, so we're going to talk a little bit about cleaning up Baton Rouge today.
Yeah.
We've got, for those who are listening right now, we've got Marlee in, we've got Kelvin Hill, Assistant Chief Administrative Officer of the Mayor's Office. We've got Geno McLaughlin, Community Engagement Coordinator from Build Baton Rouge. Marlee is the Director of Community Relations at Mid-City Redevelopment Alliance. And then the favorite guest for today. This is the feather in the cap guest. I told Marie that not one but two of my close friends said months ago I needed to get her on the show.
Oh, wow. What serendipity.
Yes, and so I am so excited to have her on the show. I've been keeping kind of a arm's length eye on what she does. I'm a big fan. So we're going to have Marlee Constantine talking about the Louisiana Stormwater Coalition. It's a lot of mouthfuls today.
It is a lot. It's an alphabet soup when you talk about anything city related. Yeah.
So for those watching on Facebook Live, do us a favor. If you like what you're seeing, share, comment if you have questions. And Taylor, who's going to be standing in, now I don't know what beverage you're drinking. Is this from
I'm
City
drinking
Roots?
City Roots.
I'm doing La Divina Italian Cafe.
Oh, well, we'll see who's better.
So mine is a tea, a hot tea called Fruity Pebbles with oat milk.
I just have coffee because I'm an adult.
That felt a certain way. All right, so let's go on and do the intro, and then we'll get you in. Kelvin, you can come on over here.
Yeah.
You just stand there for 2 minutes. Yeah, I'm ready to roll. Let's do it. All right, welcome to another episode of the Geaux Rouge radio show. If you're listening on Talk 107.3 or on the Geaux Rouge or Talk 107.3 Facebook Live apps, welcome to the circus. I'm your host, Franz Burkhart. This is episode 73. We've got Taylor. Taylor's doing production today, standing in for the Brian Haldane. 73 episodes, Taylor. 2 more, and I get the set of steak knives finally. I thought I was going to get the set of steak knives at 50, but 75, I feel it in my core. I'm going to get it. This week's episode is cleaning up Baton Rouge. We've got a whole bunch of great guests on talking about what we can do to solve the problem. So I'm going to get on my lawyer soapbox for a second. Normally, most of you guys know me as a criminal justice guy. I've been in the criminal justice system one way, shape, or form for over 15 years. I've been a public defender. I've been a felony prosecutor. I've had a badge, Marlee. I have a badge.
Who gave you one?
The district attorney's office. I had a badge.
Did they interview you?
Yes.
Was there a mental health check?
Yeah, there was a full
Background
screening
check?
process
Oh,
and
wow.
everything. So I've been on, and the point behind this is people can find fault with anything. But I don't want to talk about what's wrong. I want to talk about why it's wrong and what we can do to fix it. And cleaning up Baton Rouge in particular, I want a clean place, man. Like, I have a little 5-year-old munchkin. Child, human.
Otherwise referred to.
Fisher.
Child.
And I like taking him to parks, and I like going to places in Baton Rouge that are clean. So that's going to be what we talk about today. But before we jump into that conversation, let's thank our show sponsors. These are the men and women, the businesses that make the Geaux Rouge radio show possible. Our first sponsor, I'm drinking some delicious hot tea from La Divina right now. La Divina Italian Cafe, serving select wines, ice cold beer, plus their exclusive sorbet mimosa. Definitely want to check them out. I don't know if you've ever been to La Divina Italian Cafe. Great place to get coffee and hot tea. Great place to get food. Awesome, awesome place. Second up, we have the Burkhart Law Firm. That is my law firm, my small lemonade stand. It is the finest criminal defense firm in the universe. I'll say that again. Finest criminal defense firm. Really, there's no way of measuring that, but I believe my self-denial is that. So for more information about my law firm, just go to burkhartlawfirm.com. You can also find us on Facebook. Sullivan's Steakhouse, your neighborhood steak restaurant. We are going to kick off our happy hour videos again, Taylor. We used to do Thirsty Thursdays. Thirsty's kind of a tricky word these days. In 2021, the word thirsty has an ambiguity to it that I don't feel comfortable with anymore. So
It's
we're not
double
doing
entendre.
Yeah, so we're not doing Thirsty Thursdays anymore. And by the way, if you're listening, Marlee Pittman is co-hosting today. She is co-hosting today. She didn't know that she was co-hosting.
Found out this morning.
Yeah, so she's co-hosting. So we're going to be live on Facebook Live on the Geaux Rouge page this afternoon. We are going to be having Manuel Martinez from Martinez Clothier on.
Oh, wow. They're
and because I'm a fashion freak. I like fashion. I'm extra, as you know. A little extra.
The bow tie you're rocking for those on the radio is
The
great.
you can't see my socks right now. But
Oh,
they're extra
paisley
too.
on paisley
Yes.
on what I believe is a paisley handkerchief.
Yes, too much paisley. We then have Gulf Coast Title, my favorite Baton Rouge title company. Definitely want to use them if you have title needs. And then last but not least, Dr. Gunja Raina from MD VIP at Heal 360. She is the brains behind this beautiful metamorphosis. I was a caterpillar, and now I'm like in a chrysalis, if you will, and I'm about to like break. I don't
A
know
thinner
what-
caterpillar.
Yeah, I'm still a caterpillar. If I
You know,
had
the
wings, I
point
would
of
be
a
able to fly.
caterpillar is to gain weight to turn into a chrysalis, right?
Right. Well, I'm at the point now where I actually went running for the first time
Wow.
in years. I'll talk about that in the second half of the show, but I joined a running club, and I am doing my first 5K. It is Get Your Rear in Gear. It's in August. It's for colon cancer. That's right. Get your rear in gear.
For colon cancer.
So I don't make it up. I just participate. So I'm going to raise some money for charity. But anyways, let's get to it. So we've got Kelvin Hill in. Kelvin is the Assistant Chief Administrative Officer with the Mayor's Office. We love the mayor. We love having anyone from the mayor's office on. And then also, I think it's appropriate that I introduce Marlee Pittman, Director of Community Relations from Mid-City Redevelopment Alliance. Guys, welcome to the Geaux Rouge show. Kelvin, I will give full credit to Marlee. You're here because Marlee said, hey, you need to do an episode on cleaning up Baton Rouge.
I will give full credit to Kelvin because he's had an incredible career. You've led at Georgia Pacific, and now you've decided to step into public service and lead what is one of, I believe, the most fun.
I like the way you're humble.
And
I should take notes.
The most, can I say sexy on the radio?
Yes, you can.
Okay. One of the most sexy agencies, DPW. So I would love to know what that transition was like for you and what y'all are doing over at DPW.
Well, the transition was very interesting to go from a public sector to a private sector to a public sector.
I can only imagine.
Things do work a little differently. But we're excited to be part of the mayor's administration, excited to be a part of what's happening in Baton Rouge. And we're certainly in DPW have an initiative this year where we're planning to help clean up Baton Rouge. So let's chat about what we're doing.
So before we do that, though, Kelvin, I just want to make sure everybody understands what is, as Assistant Chief Administrative Officer, what is, in a nutshell, what do you do?
Everything the mayor asked me to.
I like that. Short, succinct, works. Okay, so
basically, I'm to support the mayor and support our Chief Administrative Officer for all things DPW and major projects like Move EBR is another major project that we're responsible for and working on. So we do what we can to help.
So you're here because we are talking about cleaning up Baton Rouge. Mm-hmm. If you're listening right now, you don't have to have hawk vision to know that Baton Rouge has a litter problem. Mm-hmm. And we just welcomed into the studio Geno, McLaughlin from the Community Engagement Coordinator, Baton Rouge. So we have a litter problem in Baton Rouge, okay? So let's talk a little bit about, I don't want to talk about the fact that we have the problem. I want to talk about how do we fix the problem? Mm-hmm. I'm going to get on my soapbox again. If you're listening to the show, you've heard me on my soapbox before. I'm tired of people complaining. I want action. I want people out there picking up, moving stuff. What can we do to fix what's going on in Baton Rouge? Anybody can jump in on this one.
Yeah, and I Geno just walked into the what is this, a
studio? Geaux Rouge studio.
Studio.
Talk 7.3.
Geno just walked into the studio, and he's a community organizer, but he also works for the city in a quasi city agency. So we've got a real leader for the community out of the mayor's office talking about some high level stuff. But I think Geno can also shed some light on that community organizing space. So I'd love to hear both of your views on this.
Well, I'll defer we'll go high and then low.
We'll go high low. Okay.
And then I'll jump in.
But here's what I'll tell you. To help clean up Baton Rouge, it's kind of a 4-point effort, right? We have to start with source reduction, and then we have to think about how do we properly dispose of our trash and our litter, and then how do we do things like cleanup events to pick up what's out there, and then how do we educate the public and students and our future residents, right? So those are the 4 things that I think we have to consider as we lay out a plan to move forward. Now, we've done some interesting things. We're working on some interesting things this year. The biggest thing that we have going on right now is I'm trying to get a handle on illegal dumping across city parish.
So when you say illegal dumping, and this is again me playing lawyer, what do you mean by illegal dumping? What is define that? Because I'm offended when I see someone flick something out of their car, but I don't think you mean that when you say illegal dumping, right?
Typically, it's when somebody puts a pile of junk, trash, or debris in a space that they're not supposed to, that doesn't belong to them, that's private property or city parish property, and they just dump that junk, trash, and debris there.
Right.
That's a concern.
So incidentally, this is a question I actually get asked on occasion. I do criminal law, but I don't do municipal stuff. If I have debris, like let's say I'm a residential homeowner and I have debris from a cleanup or from a housework or whatever. What are my options with the city of Baton Rouge to get rid of that debris? What can I do to get rid of that debris instead of illegally dumping it somewhere that I don't have a right to do that?
You have 3 good options.
Awesome. Love
Option number 1 is put it at the curbside for weekly collection.
Okay. Sounds simple. Sounds simple.
Option number 2, you can take it to the landfill. They'll gladly accept it.
Yep.
Option number 3, if you've participated in some type of community cleanup event and you want some help collecting what you've picked up, just give us a call at DPW and we'll send a crew out there to pick it up.
So why do you think it is? So I have to ask this question. Why do you think it is that people illegally dump it? If there are these 3 viable options, which one of them requires you to do nothing more than to put it at your curb, why are people illegally dumping?
Now, if we knew the answer to that, we could solve the world's problems,
Okay,
right?
fair answer. Fair answer, right? Okay. But we know that they're doing it.
We know that they're doing it.
Okay.
And often not in the communities that you think, right? So it's not, obviously in certain communities they might be known for blight. They might be known for, tires being piled up. Plank Road famously being one of those, right? But you see them in neighborhoods really kind of throughout our community, right? What you will find is that it's not always those residents that live there that are illegally dumping. And so what you'll see, and I'm sure Kelvin can attest to this, what you'll see is maybe it's industry leaders or people of industry, right, that'll, for whatever reason, they have not connected to the message that we do have resources and places that you can dump. Unfortunately, they'll come in and, in certain neighborhoods and they'll say, well, hey, it looks a certain way already. We'll just dump this here, right? And they'll drive off and go back to their community. And so that's also an issue. I think to Marlee's point, too, what we're trying to do is connect people to this messaging, but also kind of help them, and myself and Marlee work really closely in that regard. Pride of place, right? She can probably give you a great definition, but for me, what that means is loving where you are, right? Loving your community, and how do we go about, solving for that?
So I tell young attorneys all the time that you need to be the kind of attorney that when you pull into your parking lot, if you're sharing office space, if you're working at a place, a public building, private building, and you see trash on the ground, you pick it up.
Yeah.
When I kid you not, Marlee,
Yeah.
I work downtown. I'm across from Baton Rouge City Court. Now I'm going to be across from the art mecca of Baton Rouge.
Triangle?
Yes, the Triangle Building.
Congratulations.
But when we have a lot of transient people coming by. We have some people sleep in the parking lot sometimes. When I see trash, I pick it up because that is my space.
Yeah.
And whether I'm sharing the office with 4 or 5 other law firms or not, to me, my space needs to have a reflection of certain things, and I do take pride in having a clean lot. Now, I wish everybody would do that, but, Okay, so the other question I get asked a lot, guys, since this is, let's stomp the experts here, I get calls about, okay, I have this debris, I have this trash, and I was wondering, can I go to a business that has a dumpster and put stuff in the dumpster? To which I say, is it your dumpster? And they say, no. And I said, is it your business? And they say, no. And I said, so we already know the answer to this question, right? And they're like, well, but it's a dumpster. So just so the record's clear, you cannot dump your stuff in other people's dumpsters. I just need a soundbite here on this one, right? I mean,
All right, from the mayor's office.
Right, yeah.
Look at it this way. That's a commercial dumpster that business owner is paying for. He's paying out of his pocket to have that dumpster there because he's typically purchased it or he's renting it, and then he pays a monthly fee to have it collected and dumped every month. So you are literally encroaching on his
breaking the law. That's a nice way of saying
personal
it.
space. Right?
Kelvin, I'll say it. You're a nice guy. You're breaking the law. So, okay. So part of it is the illegal dumping. What are the other issues that we can work on? I know blight, which Marlee will tell you I can't spell blight. I tried to communicate the word blight to Marlee like 3 different ways, and I can't spell it.
I'm sure there's some legal terms I can't spell either.
Right. So can we talk blight? Do we have time to talk a little bit about blight?
Sure. Yeah.
How do we address blight? Because I know there's criminal justice studies that show that it's the broken window, theory. If we fix blight, we somehow, Marlee's rolling her eyes, so I don't know if that's true or not.
So multi-layered, though.
Okay, let's do it.
So let's
All of us are hedging that.
Yeah.
let's start a bit with the definition, right?
Okay.
So blight tends to be abandoned properties that are not maintained and taken care of, and typically turn into a safety hazard because they're open and they're hazardous. 2 is junk, trash, and debris left on private property where the property owner is not maintaining that property or taking care of that. And 3, it's junk cars or abandoned cars or cars that are an eyesore or a hazard within city parish. And last but not least is when property owners don't cut their grass, and we get a lot of tall grass and weeds that hold rodents and other unwanted animals that create issues for residents. So, that's kind of the definition of blighting. What we'd like to see is we'd like to see homeowners step up and be responsible for the property that they own. We'd like to see the opportunity for blighted property to be put back into development, right? So it's redeveloped and create opportunities for folks. We think that's a good idea.
So I have you guys on because I want to, obviously I have misconceptions, but I also have experts on because I want to get to the root of things. So what are some of the misconceptions about blight? What are the layers? Now, Marlee's making that face again, so
yeah.
I feel like I'm going to a place that Marlee's not comfortable with, but
Well, I think look for me.
I appreciate it, Geno. Thank you.
No, look. So, and I've been a guest here, and certainly not shying away from tough subjects. For me, right, first and foremost, poverty begets blight, begets crime, begets a whole bunch of social ills, right?
Right.
And so we have to first understand that, and we're not talking about the your homeowner next door, right? I think sometimes in certain neighborhoods we understand blight differently, right? And also we're tied into and have access, and even what was I'm looking for, the messaging around blight and the resources. Call 311, call the mayor's office. A lot of times that messaging is not in other neighborhoods, right? So in certain neighborhoods, right, we can talk about Old South, we can talk about parts of North Baton Rouge, certain neighborhoods, right? We're talking about large scale blight, right? And that is a derivative of poverty, right? And so we have to it is imperative on city, parish, and all of us collectively, right? Whether you live in Concord, in 70808, or you live in Shenandoah, or you live in 70805, it's imperative on all of us to take a collective approach and say, hey, how do we solve this collectively? Why is it that what happens in North Baton Rouge affects me over in southeast portion of the parish? Because we're one community, right?
Right.
And where crime exists one place, it eventually will creep over into other areas as well, right?
Sure.
And crime, again, though, is also a derivative in many aspects of poverty. And so we have to kind of take a large-scale approach and make sure the messaging is getting to the people who actually need to hear that.
So I got to participate in a Baton Rouge leadership program with BRAC, and one of the things, so I'm pretty well versed in criminal justice.
Yeah.
But one of the things I had never just wrapped my brain around was the interconnectivity of education, poverty, criminal health,
transportation.
Everything is
Absolutely.
connected.
Absolutely.
And I think you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
If we say, oh, that's over there, that doesn't affect me, well then, that ostrich in the sand, which by the way, they don't really actually put their heads in the sand. Ostriches really literally don't put their heads in the sand. Anyways, so let's talk. What do you think?
So I think the reason I kind of made that initial base, and ACAO Kelvin is right. When we're talking about blight, we're talking about people not mowing their lawns, we're talking about people dumping trash. But I think when we focus on that, we tend to look at the people who own blighted properties as criminals.
Right.
Like they are intentionally creating blight because they don't care about their community or because they
poor people are dirty.
Yeah,
That's
there's
the belief,
there's
right?
a lot of stereotypes to unpack in there, and I think it affects how we support these communities. I think it impacts how we roll out programs to these communities, and I think it affects how we're touching base with these homeowners and these landlords. We talk a lot about the landlords who not doing their best because truly in North Baton Rouge, a lot of these blighted homes they're owned by landlords. Renters are at a loss for what to do. They're not going to invest in a property that they could then be kicked out of because their landlord will raise their rent once they invest in it.
Yeah, but let's take another look at this, right? So 10% of the properties might be blighted, which means 90% of them are not. Yep. So that 90%, those people have invested in that property or their homes, and they have either paid them off or are paying them off, and that's the single largest investment that most of them will make in their lifetime. So they want to protect that investment. The other opportunity is for those 90%, they want to have quality of life, quality of place. They
For their
don't want to
children.
live in the middle of drug trafficking. They don't want to live in the middle of crime. And they see blighted properties as opportunity for drugs and crime, right? So they want it cleaned up because why? They want quality of place. They want that quality of life.
So we've got a few minutes left. We've got 3 minutes left. Talk to me a little bit about initiatives that you guys have going on, each of you guys, and we may let you guys come back for the second segment. Poor Marlee Constantine is looking at me like I don't know that she wants to fill 20 minutes. So, talk to me about what individually you guys your entities are all doing and how we can get involved.
Yeah, I'm actually going to let Kelvin go first because I know DPW is ramping up their efforts, and then Geno and I can speak to a really interesting kind of public-private partnership we've entered in that's going to address this on the ground.
So relative to litter, we just launched our first weekend of Operation Cleanup. We had that this past weekend. Unfortunately, it got rained out the weekend before last.
It happens.
The weekend before that.
And we'll have a couple of more weekends coming up this week.
We sure will.
Right.
This
We
weekend we'll be
had
cleaning
our
up.
household hazardous material collection day this past Saturday. We served over 1,000 residents. We had over 50 tons of hazardous material collected. So I think we are very appreciative and are proud of the participation and support we're getting from the community to get involved and help us clean up. So that is significant for us.
Awesome. And if I want more information on what the city is doing, where would I go?
You can go to the city's website and just look on the city's website, and you can see all the activities and the different things we have going on.
Awesome.
And just to speak to the city, I know the city can get a lot of flack for not cleaning up, but I mean, how many crews do you have to clean out drains? What, 2? How many
Well,
street sweepers do you have?
We
I mean,
have 3 street sweepers. We have 3 lots that have a drainage crew at each
Yeah.
lot, and right now we're running a little light on crews. We're down about 200 employees. So if anybody wants a job, sign up with the city. We'd be happy to have you as a city parish employee.
Yeah.
So we're about to hit our first break. You guys stick around. We have the show between shows on Facebook Live, and we'll also get you guys on the second segment for a little bit because I do want to hear from Geno about the Build Baton Rouge, and of course I know you have things. You have things too.
Oh, well.
So you're listening to the Geaux Rouge Radio Show. This is your host, Franz Burkhart. We're talking about cleaning up Baton Rouge today. If you want more information about the Geaux Rouge Radio Show, go to www.geauxrouge.com. And if you have a show topic, email me at info@geauxrouge.com, and we'll get you. This is how easy it was. Marlee emailed me and said, you need to do a show about X, Y, and Z. Yeah. Okay, you're the boss. So we're going to hit our first break. You are listening again to Franz Burkhart at Geaux Rouge Radio. Stick around. We'll be right back. All right, we're still on Facebook Live. So, Geno, what we're going to do is when we come back, we're going to let you finish off with your initiatives.
Okay.
So I was sitting at City Roots yesterday evening. So I'm a big Mid-City fan. All right. I live in Mid-City. I like to stick to Mid-City. And I'm looking around City. You're familiar with City
I am.
Roots.
I was there.
The electric depot, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting around, and it's this crisp, clean space. It's well lit. It's got the industrial lights. It's just the ambiance and all this. And I'm like, when I think of Mid-City, this is what I want to think about, right? Now, I go to other places in Mid-City, and it doesn't have that warm and fuzzy feeling always. Now, it's not because it doesn't. Now, you stop making your faces. My point is what I noticed because I was thinking about today's episode was it's clean.
Yeah.
Now, that might be because it's a private property, right? And there might be people that I don't know the answer to this, and you can be careful with what you say. But there is a. I love your facial. You have zero poker face, Marlee Pittman.
I'm not very good at poker now.
No, but we were talking earlier. The reason I bring this up is we were talking
Yeah.
earlier. I live in Bernard Terrace.
Okay.
And every morning I let my dog out. I pick up my own dog mess because I'm that neighbor.
Me too.
Because good neighbors don't let their dogs use other people's yards and just leave it there as a present.
Horrified to think about it.
Yes, I don't do that.
Yeah.
I don't want to be on next door.
Right.
There's ladies out there taking
Well,
photos
I tell
of you.
people, I'm like, how do you feel? I tell people all the time, I'm like, how do you feel when you see somebody take their dog into your yard and let them use their business and they just keep walking? I don't like it. I'm like, right? So anyways, every morning, we talked about this, Geno, before you got here. Every morning, I'm picking up debris in my yard. And it's not a lot of debris, but it's like cups, it's fast food cups, it's mass, it's all sorts of things, and it's not like it's not that, not to sound first world privilege, it's not the end of the world, but it's like I've lived in places where that wasn't my morning routine. So that's kind of what I was trying to safely navigate to, Marlee, is how do we get consistency in neighborhoods?
So first, I'll provide some insight on the electric depot. I mean, they have somebody who works full time because it's not that trash does not get there. It is that they can pay to have somebody pick it up every single day.
And also to reverse engineer that a couple of years, right? You also have to look at that public-private partnership that you see in the room, right? Electric Depot exists because of Build Baton Rouge, because of the city, because of that. No, it does. And so you have to think about what that space looked like prior to, right? Yeah. That space sat vacant. I'm not gonna say intentionally, but it was certainly neglected for years and years and years. Also seen as an area because of, to be frank, the people that lived adjacent to it, right? It wasn't always considered so much mid-city now, right?
Right.
It's a new branding.
Right. And so now that space
was it downtown before?
No, it was technically always within the boundaries of Mid-City, but there's the vernacular, there's the cultural perceptions of areas and where
that drives property rates up versus
perceptions of it just being a part of an area that we don't care about. I mean, Geno brought up, North Baton Rouge is that's just not my problem, but it is. I mean, it comes into our front doors quite literally.
Absolutely. And so that's just something I always think about too, and how we can go about solving those things, and why all neighborhoods are deserving of that sort of investment, right? But we just have to be intentional about how we approach it.
So I live in, and this is new to me. So I live in a neighborhood now where during the ice storm, my neighbor somehow got my cell phone number and texted me. They're married. My neighbor got my cell phone number and texted me and said, "Hey, just so you know, your backyard's flooding. We think one of the pipes under your house is burst." And I was like, "Oh." And they're like, "Would you like us to shut the water off?" And I'm like, "Yes, I would like you to shut the water off."
No, keep it going.
So then the next text was, "Well, my husband can fix it." And I'm like, "What? My husband has fixed the pipes under your house before when there was the previous owner. Would you like us to fix it?" And I'm like, is this a trick question?
Mid-City is a beautiful place.
Right?
I see that all the time.
So I live across the street. I will not name her name. She actually works for the mayor's office. I live across the street from somebody who works for the mayor's office. My neighbors are just, it's a wonderful little spot, right? And it's not the Capitol Heights side of the street. It's the other side of the street. But, I mean, it's...
I think Bernard Terrace is really up and coming.
Charming.
It is charming. And I think it honestly, for me, is an incredible example of smart development that allows people of all incomes and all socioeconomic statuses to afford to live in one neighborhood. And I think that that's beautiful, and it creates kind of cultural communities. There's a narrative that you can't do that if you are living next to people who don't look like you, make as much money as you.
The diversity on my block is...
Bernard Terrace is an incredibly diverse place.
Yeah.
And we still see that type of community. And I think, I don't know if you participated, in the package distribution. People will get packages on their porch and they'll post it on Facebook. "I've got a package for Miss Edna." Like, who is that? And they will hunt you down and find you and get you your package.
FedEx, before we jump back in, FedEx dropped off 2 packages for the young lady that lives across the street. And before the FedEx guy left, I said, whoa. I said, as much as I would like these 2 packages, I think you meant to put it over there. There is that sense of... Now, next door is crazy.
It is.
Next door can be crazy.
Next door has value, and it has... It does have value as a connector.
When I see a post that says, "My power has been off for 10 minutes, I'm losing my mind. When is energy going to turn my power off?" And it is like a hurricane. I'm like, come on, Karen.
I think my favorite next door posts are like men walking down street. Please, everybody go to the window and watch them.
Strange man walking with object down
Most
street.
interesting
it's the FedEx
thing.
guy. It's the FedEx guy. All right, we're going to jump back in. We're going to do you guys for another 7 minutes. All right, we're going to do another 7 minutes with these guys. 2-minute intro, 7 minutes, and then we're going to have you on. I'm so excited. All right, welcome back to the Geaux Rouge Radio Show. This is your host, Franz Burkhart. We're on episode 73, second segment, Cleaning Up Baton Rouge. We're in studio with Kelvin Hill, ACA for the mayor's office, Geno McLaughlin, community engagement coordinator with Build Baton Rouge, and Marlee Pittman, our co-host today, the director of community relations with Mid-City Redevelopment Alliance. Guys, welcome back to our second segment.
Thank you for having me.
We're going to introduce our show sponsors real fast, and then we're going to continue the conversation. Our show sponsors are the men and women, the folks that make the Geaux Rouge show possible. We have Gulf Coast Title, premier title company in Baton Rouge. Definitely want to use them. Sullivan Steakhouse, your neighborhood steak restaurant. We'll be doing a Tuesday live show this evening. We're going to have Manuel from Martinez Fine Clothier, and we're going to also have some realtors on talking about men's fashion. So it'll be nice. There'll be some cocktails and some wonderful happy hour morsels. So you definitely want to come out to Sullivan's and check them out. We've got the Burkhart Law Firm, criminal defense firm. That's my firm. And then La Divina Italian Cafe serving up custom made from scratch breakfasts daily. It's my favorite coffee shop, by the way. La Divina. There's a lot of good coffee shops in Baton Rouge.
There are.
I'll
Many
give
of them in Mid-City.
Many of them in Mid-City. Some I don't like in Mid-City, but most of them I love in Mid-City.
I love them all.
We'll talk off air. So, La Divina Italian Cafe. And then Dr. G, Dr. Gunja Raina, MD VIP at Heal 360. You definitely need to check her out. She's concierge medicine, Taylor. That means that I literally get to talk to my doctor 24/7, which my ego loves. She texted me actually just now to say, hey, is everything going okay? I weigh in every couple of weeks. It's really crazy, but it's working. I mean, Marlee knows me.
Great.
I do look fantastic, don't I? So definitely want to give her a check out, www.mdvip.com/doctors/GunjaRinaMD.com. I'm working on getting her a smaller web handle so that I can,
SEO ratings with that probably aren't that great.
Yeah. Well, the biggest success story in terms of advertising for her is she has people in Baton Rouge that she's helping that that are like, what are you doing to get fit? What are you doing to lose all the weight? What are you doing to get healthy? And I just say, Dr. G, you talk to Dr. G.
Your weight loss has been quite public. I mean, your not your weight loss, but your effort to become healthy.
I am
has been
trying
very
to
public.
be mentally, physically, and spiritually a healthy human being.
Very
So,
proud.
all right. So we've got some heavy hitters in the community in the studio right now, Marlee. We've got about 6 minutes left with them. We were talking about city initiatives. Talk to me a little bit about what's going on with Mid-City Redevelopment in terms of cleaning up Baton Rouge, and then we're going to let Geno have the last word.
Sure, and I think Mid-City Redevelopment Alliance is incredibly lucky to be working with some really great partners at the city on some of our new initiatives. We have been sitting inside the mayor's office and with Geno, who leads all things Build BR on the ground, talking about some strategic ways to solve this. Not just one additional cleanup 1 month, but what are some of those long-term goals? And we have come up with sort of this kind of holistic program with the mayor's office and with Build Baton Rouge, which is the redevelopment authority for our city. And we kind of launched something called Safe, Hopeful Neighborhoods. And it's a multi-pronged program.
Does it have an acronym?
SHN. But if you go to safehopefulneighborhoods.com, you can learn more about the initiative we're supporting Mayor President Broome to lead. And it's got a few components. It's got training for residents and community leaders and neighborhood leaders on how to lead in all of these challenges we've mentioned. You heard from Kelvin. You're going to definitely hear from Miss Marie Constantine later, and you'll certainly hear from Geno anytime you see him at a protest or an event or anything.
Rally,
it
protest.
takes all of the above. It's going to take every single one of our neighbors to kind of step up and to lead that on the ground effort so that we can create neighborhoods of opportunity like Bernard Terrace. So we've got training opportunities for them. We've got extensive. We'll take them to national trainings, local trainings. We're going to invest in them with direct dollars to do the type of community improvement projects they want to see. We are going to sponsor their community events. We are going to provide them with the supplies and tools they need to clean up in their community, including DPW support, trash bags, everything you could possibly need for those types of things. And we're going to work alongside them, the city, the nonprofits, and community leaders. So.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, Geno, we've got a few minutes left. Last word. Last word, my friend.
I mean, I don't know where to go with it, but I'll just kind of piggyback what Marlee was saying, right? So whether it's resident leader, whether it's trying to address blight, or even just as Kelvin put it, blighted properties back into productive commerce, right? Those are all the different initiatives that we're trying to solve at Build Baton Rouge. We are famously promoting the Imagine Plank Road project, where we're trying to think about what that corridor can look like, because we have certainly invested in downtown. We've invested in Government Street, mid-city, right? And so now, how do we go about being intentional about redeveloping parts of North Baton Rouge? And so Plank Road is really just kind of the first kind of foray, but I mean, Scotlandville needs that same sort of attention. There are other areas as well that need that. Florida Boulevard need that same sort of attention. And so this is just taking that same broad-based approach that we put into downtown and into Government Street, and now going north with that, right? But in terms of the resident leader program and safe, hopeful neighborhoods, right? I think empowering residents is always the way to go about doing that, because when residents have both voice, have access to power, and have access to resources, that's when you can see things really start to change. That's when you'll see them start to care about, not just care about, because they already love where they live, right? But to think about it in a broader perspective, and also see themselves part of the larger community, right? Because when you live in a neighborhood that is, or been disinvested or void of so many different resources, blight and litter might just be one little small problem that you have. I don't have. Let alone ADA compliant sidewalks. I don't have sidewalks at all, right? I don't have working street lights. In the neighborhood that I came from, I went to one of the neighborhood meetings, right? And just to think about the things that were being discussed there versus when I'm in other neighborhoods, it is a gap in resources. And so now trying to connect people with the resources and find out what it is they need and help them become organizers so they can solve their own neighborhood level issues.
So, final thing, if people want to get more information about Build Baton Rouge, where would they go?
But first and foremost, go to our website, www.buildbatonrouge.org. And they can always reach out to me. Go to our Instagram, I think it's at Build Baton Rouge on both Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter as well.
So Kelvin, Geno, I know you guys are very busy. Thank you guys for giving us a little bit of time.
No, thank you. And thank you, Marlee, too.
Marlee gets full credit for having you guys here. I don't have the kind of stroke that Marlee has. So, Marlee, I am excited about our next guest. You guys have a great day, by the way.
Appreciate you guys.
Thank you so much, y'all.
Our next guest, Marlee Constantine. Marlee Constantine is with Louisiana Stormwater Coalition. Miss Marlee, come on over to the microphones. So, she brought pictures.
Came armed.
I love it. So, okay. So, you are a big advocate for cleaning some stuff up, right? That's an oversimplification.
Yeah, we've cleaned up 1,192 bags.
So talk to me.
That's a lot of
that's
bags.
That's a lot
amazing.
of bags.
So tell me a little bit about what your mission, your goal is for Baton Rouge, and for because you're also making it into so the photography is what fascinates me, right?
Yeah.
The correlation between what you're doing artistically and what you're doing to clean up Baton Rouge.
Yeah, we get to show stuff.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And
Something that's not traditionally been pretty,
Yeah,
right? I mean, I don't
yeah.
think like,
well,
I'm
art
going to
can
go.
be not pretty,
Actually,
right?
It's true.
Actually,
That's true.
litter could be pretty because it's patterns.
Right. Okay.
Patterns are pretty, whether they're awful
Trash
things or good things.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, well, should I tell you how I got started in this?
In the beginning.
Yeah,
There was darkness.
in the very beginning.
Yeah.
Well, it was January 1st or 2nd. I think it was January 1st, and I took my dog for a walk down to Capitol Lakes, and I saw litter as far as the eye could see, and I was absolutely horrified. And because my family is big into being outdoors and all that, and so I just said to myself, you're just going to come down here an hour every day, and you're going to give a year of your life to this lake and just pick it up. And then I thought about Mother Teresa and her wonderful, where she got her strength.
And you've spent some time with Mother Teresa before,
Yeah,
right?
a little bit, yeah.
So tell us the story behind you. You photographed her, right? I mean, you were.
Yeah, when she would come to this country for about a 13-year period on and off, the sisters would call me, and I would fly back east, and I would either fly into D.C. or New Jersey or New York, wherever she was going to be. And then we would go up and down the East Coast, and she would speak and different things like that.
Oh, what was it like hanging out with her?
It was amazing,
Oh.
Yeah.
So, cleaning up the lake.
So I thought about her.
Yeah.
And what I thought about was, when I looked at the lake, I said, okay, you're going to do this for a year. And I thought, it's impossible to get it all. Like, I'm going to go clockwise.
Right.
But clearly I'm not going to get it all because it was an outrageous amount. And then I thought, well, her deal was, I don't have to be successful, I have to be faithful. So I drew from that strength. And if you think about it, if you want to be a real badass, just take that on, because nothing will stop you.
Right.
So if you have to be successful, you're in trouble, because you may not be. But if you just have to be faithful, so our whole coalition is taking that on, is we
Right.
just have to do what's right, have a pure heart and do what's right. So I started picking up bags, and I started, Facebooking how I felt about it. And then I got to the end of the South Shore, and I was going to tell everybody on Facebook, come down here for date night. It's exquisite. And a storm came in that night and blew 20 bags and messed up all my stuff. And I was horrified, and I was dejected, and I said, well, you said you were going to be faithful. You better get back out there the next day. So Will DeGravel, God bless him, came and picked 6 bags, and that really gave me a shot in the arm. And then people just started feeling sorry for me.
That's always a good way of motivating people.
After the storm, yeah. They started wanting to help.
Guilt. I love a good guilt.
Pity and guilt gets it done sometimes,
Hey,
Marie.
Catholic guilt, there's
Yeah.
I was
nothing
going to
like
say,
it.
my mother knows about this Catholic guilt. It's been very effective.
There's nothing like it.
So in some respects, the storm was a gift, right?
It was a gift, yes, because, a lot of people came and helped. And then to this day, we started learning things. We didn't know that 41 bags were flowing in from the city-owned storm drains that are not treated like other areas are. And so we literally have cleaned up the lakes 15 times, and got 600 bags out of the woods, and the woods were pristine. And so that realization of these different dynamics of litter, and then I started calling this guy in Florida who's in charge of the director of the Hinckley Center, and I call him every year now, and we talk about litter, and he helps me, and I just run ideas by him. But he helped me to understand litter. And then I went to Pensacola, and I heard that they had hydrodynamic separators that were grabbing flood-causing sediments and litter down to a hair on your head. And then I went and I heard Vermilion is keeping 68 miles of bank clean. And so I rode in the boats with the men twice and talked to the CEO about the numbers. I wanted to crunch the numbers and understand. So what I came to realize was, while people are littering the streets, cities that don't have stormwater treatment programs are the litter bugs of the watersheds, meaning the lakes, rivers, bayous, and streams. And so what I mean by that is their canals are delivering the payload of litter. So nobody is standing on the shores of Capitol Lake tossing in beer cans.
So it's counterintuitive, right?
Yeah.
So Joe, the layperson who doesn't have your knowledge, would think that.
Yes, I've brought people down, and I brought my friend Father Carville, and he said, "Who's doing this?" And I said, "Johnny, they're not throwing this in. This is our untreated storm drains."
And I think to that, right, and I know you were a part of this awareness campaign, a lot of the litter that we're seeing in our front yards is 1-piece, 2-piece. It has to do with not tying their bags properly, not
Yes.
disposing of their trash properly. It's not that somebody's like,
So here-
screw Franz
So
every
part of
morning.
it- so part of my, so I'm on if you've listened to the show, I'm on a bit of a spiritual journey these days, Marie. You and I are going to hit it off great. Part of my need to accept things and understanding is there are poor people that go through recycling bins in Mid-City and take the aluminum.
Yes.
And they do it because, I believe they do it because of necessity.
Yeah.
And so, yes, sometimes the bags in my garbage have been gone through, and part of the problem is, I don't believe that it's just people being litter bugs. I do believe, I try to have some acceptance and understanding about it. I still pick it up, and I have to pick it up. Like I pick up my dog poop.
Well, the Hinckley Center told me litter is very complicated.
Yes.
It is very complicated. On 9th Street, I think most of the litter is intentional. On Spanish Town Road, it's because when people don't bag their garbage, and we've got people trained now, and we have less litter. And so, but there's something else that I want to tell people, and it's really what I realized. We're number one in rainfall. And so because we're number one in rainfall, we're number one in delivering flood-causing sediments, and notice I said flood-causing sediments, and delivering those and delivering litter to the storm drain, which is a freeway on-ramp system that delivers it to the watersheds, lakes, rivers, and streams. So we're not as disgusting as we think, because if we were Arizona, with their 12 inches. That would never bring a water bottle very far. And so what's happened is, because we're number one in rainfall, it has enabled us into not knowing how bad it is. So when Stephanie Regal blew it up in Business Report and people were mortified, they got a first-time look at, guys, if we weren't number one in rain, this would be on the street and we would have fixed it a long time ago. So we're not the horrible. What we have to do, Franz, is pivot.
So you've just segued into my next question.
Okay.
So I adore you, Marlee. What can we do to help fix it?
Okay, we're working so hard. Our coalition, Kelly Hurtado,
So-
Renee Verma, Jeff
Louisiana
Keeney.
Stormwater Coalition.
Yes, we formed a coalition, and Brew Advertising put it all together.
I
gave
love
us
Brew.
a-
Brew.
Is she awesome?
Brew.
Gave us a logo.
So she was in my leadership Baton Rouge class with me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
Was Nanette Guy in there too?
I think
I love
so.
her. She
I
came
think
out
so.
and helped us.
All right.
Yeah.
So what can we do to help?
Okay,
you?
here's what we're trying to do. Talk to your council person, say contact Marie, she'll give you a tour, and then talk to your legislators. Here's what Florida did. 30 years ago, we're 30 years behind treating stormwater, and it's not the mayor's fault. That's where we are. She didn't do this. This is generations of this stuff. So talk to your we found out Florida declared stormwater to be a utility 30 years ago. And when they declared stormwater to be a utility, they basically provided a funding vehicle for every community in Florida that wanted to clean it up and put it on a utility bill. So today, 160 communities are online with a program, while we have none. And I brought these maps, even though people can't see them. And this is, I want to,
So
point
she
out.
has. So I'll play attorney. So the record reflects that Marie has maps of the region. The
Three
area.
maps.
Yes.
This is Pensacola.
Okay.
Pensacola has so much stuff in the ground from 30 years of bringing in millions that they have 3 wall maps, while
Okay.
we have 3 booms we struggle to empty. And I want to emphasize again, the mayor didn't do it. Kelvin didn't do it. We don't have a program. We don't have stormwater declared a utility. We don't
So-
have a vehicle.
So you have this coalition.
Yes.
We're getting there. I'm going to pull back some layers here, Marie.
I'm glad
What-
I'm being interviewed by an attorney.
What can I as a citizen do? Okay, so I can call my council man,
Say, hey,
Or woman.
or well, in my instance, I have
Oh.
my.
yeah.
Oh, your district sec.
So I called my council woman,
Yeah.
and she told me, no, you're actually
Lamont Cole, right?
Lamont Cole, which
Yeah.
I like Lamont. I have no problem with Lamont. I had a great conversation with Lori.
Oh, you thought you were 11.
Yeah, I thought I was 11.
Just good one.
So here's the thing. What can I, as a citizen, do to help what you're doing? Is it picking up? Is it fundraising? What is it? Just getting my council people out so they can be educated and start becoming lobbyists for you.
Yeah. Well,
All the above.
For us, for the Stormwater Coalition, is we just say we have to pivot and we have to help our city.
Right.
Our city does not have this program. Miami's the average price in Miami is $3.50 on a utility fee, and they're bringing in $12 million. I went to the city and asked if they could empty booms, and they said they couldn't afford it. So
What
we
is
got.
the cost of emptying a boom? Do you know?
I calculated under 5,000 for what we need at Capitol Lakes. Probably 9,000 for the booms now because last year it was cheaper, and then probably that to clean them. And so what they need. See, there's another thing that I didn't point out. Litter on the street is the lipstick and the pearls. It embarrasses us, and it's a loss of business. Litter in the watershed is the soul. It's where we get our food. It's where we play, we swim. It's where our wildlife is. It's the sportsman's paradise. It's diseased. It's suffering. These pictures that I brought of these birds dying. There's a thing called death by litter at Capitol Lakes and all over Baton Rouge and in the whole state of Louisiana. Diving birds dip down to get a fish and come up, and Brian Boudreau photographed it. Their noses tied with litter, and they starve to death. So we have got to this.
And for those who don't know, your advocacy includes photographing some of these litter areas,
Yes,
right?
We have our beautiful Brian Boudreau, who works for Franklin Press, goes out and all the time is photographing these things for us. And, you know, some of these are cell phone shots, but we call him our wildlife photographer. And then he does drone shots for us.
So we've got about 2 minutes left. We're talking
Okay.
to Marlee Constantine. I would feel like I was missing an opportunity if I didn't ask you this question. If people want to get more information about the coalition and helping you out, where do they go?
Go to louisianastormwater.com. And also we have a fund at BRAF, and we're all volunteers, and we're going to use this to help our city.
So small micro volunteering is going and picking up stuff, right?
Yes.
Which you need help with.
Just
right?
go get a bag and get out there.
Okay, so
Yeah.
so if let's say Saturday morning, my 5-year-old and I want to do something to help Baton Rouge. We get a couple of bags, we go out to the Capitol Lakes, and we just start picking up stuff.
Yes, it would be awesome. Put boots on because it's snake season right now.
He's got shrimp boots.
Okay.
I do not have boots, but I can buy shrimp boots. And,
Yeah.
and they are literally dinosaur shrimp boots.
Very, very cute.
Are they white?
No, they're red, blue.
I want some white
So-
ones. I wore
so
mine out from the
My
rock.
son, shout out to my son, Jules Fisher. His name is Jules Fisher. We call him Fish. Jules has an eclectic fashion sense. So,
As opposed to you in your 3-piece paisley.
yes. So we're running out of time on that note.
Oh, sorry.
But we are going to stick. Look,
Okay,
we want
okay.
Marlee to stick around. I got to get a picture with Marlee and you because I need to send it to my good friend Beverly Brooks Thompson, who told me I had to have you
Oh,
on the
so
show.
Beverly and Meredith.
Oh,
love
yes, yes. So you've been listening to the Geaux Rouge Show. Thank you for everything you're doing.
Thank you.
I will make it my goal to do whatever I can within my limited power. I'm not Marlee. Marlee's got stroke. She's got power. I'm like insignificant. So, but I want to help because I think what you're doing has extreme value, and I think the fact is, look, we always need to blame somebody. But then
Yes,
when
we have solutions.
Yeah, you guys have solutions.
That's all we have is solutions.
Right. And
Yeah.
and so now that we know what's causing the problem, it's just a matter of getting us there. So
Yeah.
again, if you want more information about the Geaux Rouge radio show, go to www.geauxrouge.com. I am your host, Franz Burkhart. This has been a wonderful episode. I'm glad.
Thank you
that
so much
we-
for having us.
Oh, no problem. You are always welcome to take
I
over one
hugged
of my
all the
shows.
time. Poor Marlee.
So we're going to head out, but we're going to stay on Facebook for about 2 seconds. So y'all have a good week. All right. So I don't want to name drop.
Ooh.
I don't want to name
You
drop.
already name dropped Beverly Brooks Thompson.
I did because I can name drop Beverly Brooks Thompson. So
And Meredith and Brian.
Yeah, well, you were
I was
giving
name
credit
dropping. I
to
was name
your
dropping.
your community of supporters, the people who got you here.
Yeah.
I do want my son is 5, and
Yeah.
I do want to teach him because he's still in that weird mode of he doesn't understand the idea of he eats a candy from Easter,
Yeah.
and it's like, oh, I'll just throw the thing on the ground,
Yeah.
or I'll throw it on the floor, and I'm trying to instill on him.
Oh, yeah.
No,
You should
we
take
put
him
it in
out.
the trash can.
Yeah.
And so I do believe that getting some gloves, and by the way, he loves it. He loves going on little scavenger hunts. He loves doing stuff. He's also in that odd mode where he gets chore money at
Yeah.
5. I know,
Yep.
don't ask me. Not my idea.
What is he
he
buying?
He doesn't buy anything. He just likes to hoard money. And he doesn't have a lot of money. It's like
That's funny.
$15, but I
That's
mean,
funny.
but like he'll do yard work.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, we're not doing like inappropriate indentured
This isn't a
servitude.
child labor issue.
No. But
That's
it's like he'll go over to his uncle's house and his uncle David, who's his godfather, has a lemon tree, and the
Yeah.
lemon tree, if you don't pick the lemons,
Dies
they
or-
pick-
well, the birds eat it.
They pick lemons, and so he gets $5 for picking lemons, and that's a child labor issue. But we'll go there later. Anyways,
That's
my point
funny.
is, I believe that it would be a fun activity
Yeah.
to show him the lakes, to say this is something that we are responsible of
Yeah.
helping out with, and showing him, that there's a correlation between litter and animals, that we don't want baby ducks to have.
Yeah. Yeah, this is so sad.
That's what's so
Yeah.
powerful about the visuals and the pairing of your work, photography,
Yeah.
and litter pickup. I
Yeah,
think
Brian's,
it's incredibly moving.
And Dr. Jeremy Burnham too. He did a beautiful photo.
So I have been being terribly rude and playing on my phone, but it's all the Facebook. So we're going to say goodbye to the Facebook folks so I can go to court. We are going to take a photo before you leave, though, because I need to be able to show
Okay.
you off. I'm so excited. Your photography, I was okay. So I'm not a photographer, although I do like food photography, right?
Yeah.
I'm more writer, like poetry, all that stuff. That's my artsy side of my brain. But your photography with the litter, there is something that just hits a chord with me because there's that beautiful and ugly balance
Yeah.
of like, and you have to sometimes like that one. If you just saw it from a distance in a flash, you'd be like, "Oh, it's a beautiful duck," and then you start looking a little deeper, and you're like,
I know.
"Oh, this is really sad."
I
You
wish
know?
somebody would donate a billboard for this. This would be so awesome. And then
Yeah.
we could
We'll
say
talk
we
to
don't
Gordon.
have to live like this.
We'll talk to Gordon.
Would you?
I can say stuff like that. You don't have to say stuff like that. Anyways, we're going to head out, turn off Facebook Live, and then I'm going to let
Okay.
these ladies get
Thank
back
you.
to their wonderful lives. And we're going to take a quick photo if that's okay with you.
Thanks, everybody, for caring.